What's the deal with Helpy? This character has been in every single game since Fnaf 6, and I mean every game. Fnaf 6, the game where Helpy first appears. This guy is mostly a background character, just dancing in the tycoon mode. But in some minigames such as Balloon Barrel, Discount Ball Pit, and mostly every single other minigame you can play, he appears in it. He also appears in the office mode, kinda like a collectible just watching you. Ultimate Custom Night. Helpy is one of the many characters you can activate. When you do, he mostly just sits on the TV, staring at you, waiting till you click him, and if you don't, he'll jump scare you, not killing you, but just being annoying. His description is, when you see him sitting in your office, press X button on him quickly, otherwise he will get in your face with an air horn, agitating sound-sensitive animatronics. He's not really important in this game, just a bit annoying. Help Wanted 1. You may be saying, Helpy doesn't appear in Help Wanted 1. Well, he does, but it's minor appearances. He appears on the monitor when you would like to choose a level. In Fnaf 1, Fnaf 2, Fnaf 3, Dark Rooms, Parts and Service, Vent Repairs, Night Terrors, Afraid of the Dark, Spooky Mansion, Danger, Keep Out. He also appears in the loading screens, and behind the monitor as an Easter egg. Security Breach. Helpy, or as I like to call him, Glamrock Helpy, appears on save stations and merchandise. Not many appearances in this game. Help Wanted 2. Helpy appears a lot in this game. He appears in First Aid Pig Patch, First Aid Lefty, and First Aid Scrap Baby as your patient. He's also in Captain Foxy's Log Ride, where you can hit him and hit a blue star to unlock the Foxy doll. And he appears in Bonkerbon, where if you hit him, you lose points. That's what I found in Help Wanted 2. Ruin. I have not found any Helpy media in Ruin apart from the AR Helpy plush, and the bad ending where he appears next to Gregory. Secret of the Mimic. Helpy technically appears as Mrs. Helpful and Mr. Helpful, and the helpful computers we find across MCM. And into the pit we find this thing. You may be saying, what about Helpi? He's also Helpy, but he's not Helpy. Let's explain Helpi first. He appears in Ruin as a part of the Vanny network, helping Cassie with her objective to free Gregory. Sometimes Helpi's eyes will go orange and then a vein will appear on his head. In Help Wanted 2, Helpi will act the same, telling you to complete tasks. But once you get a present, if you don't open it, Helpi will begin to get annoyed, telling you it's worth it to open the present. He wants you to open the present, which would lead to you becoming the mask bot. And once you collect all the Fast Force figures, Helpi will be laying down on the beach like he's on vacation. But let's go back to what I said in the beginning of this segment. Helpi isn't Helpy, because Helpy is David. Now I know that sounds bad, but let me explain. Mr. Helpful is a representation of Edwin, Mrs. Helpful is a representation of Fiona, and then Helpy would be their child. And who is Edwin and Fiona's child? David. Helpy is a representation of David. Now you may be saying, who is Helpi? Helpi is M2. Helpi can have orange eyes, which are heavily connected to the Mimic. His orange eyes are the first thing we notice when we find him in the basement, and one of the first things we notice in the Secret of the Mimic teaser is his orange eyes. Helpi, aka M2, is trying to be David by using Helpy as his appearance. Look at Helpi's eyes, they are blue, just like when M2 mimics David in the secret ending. They go from blue to orange, just like the secret ending. And look at Helpi's appearance in Help Wanted 2, it looks like Mrs. and Mr. Helpful, and it acts nearly identical to the Helper. Also, both of these programs tell you to complete tasks too. M2 is trying to mimic David to potentially trick Cassie and the Help Wanted 2 player by pretending to be Helpy, who represents David. He would do this because no one is going to trust a 7-foot robot. They are instead going to trust a more childlike bear. We literally see this with Cassie's reaction to Helpi and the Mimic. She doesn't even have a reaction to Helpi when he appears in the Vanny network, but she is clearly afraid of the Mimic when we encounter him. Also, M2 being Helpi solves why Gregory knows where we are throughout Ruin. M2 is Helpi, who is literally installed in Cassie's mind and Gregory. But before we get to the conclusion of this video, let's answer the question, because what is the deal with Helpy? I think the fact that Helpy is shown up in every single game since Fnaf 6 and is possibly a David representation shows that Edwin, Fiona and David are still around, not them being alive obviously. And Steelwall and Scott have chose to use Helpy in every single game, when they could have easily just used normal Freddy, but they chose Helpy, a character who could possibly represent David. Mrs. and Mr. Helpful represent Fiona and Edwin, and their child would be Helpy, who would then represent David. M2 using Helpy as an avatar for Helpi, still having different appearances. Helpi in Ruin having a Fazbear technician suit. Meanwhile, in Help Wanted 2, Helpi looks more like Mrs. and Mr. Helpful. M2 is still trying to mimic David, but he cannot get it spot on. Like Edwin said, you're not him. Thank you for watching my first ever video. My next theory will be about Tales of the Pizzaplex, so subscribe to see that, and have a great day.